So how does it feel like to eat only fat, animal protein, and not eat sugar? How did I feel like when I did that? When I first started doing carnivore, I wasn't the best at it. I did make my own mistakes, and that did slow the healing for my gut. But as I started to do the carnivore diet, I started to do it correctly and strictly and consistently. And when those three things happened, I started to feel a huge difference in my body for the better, right? I got away from pain faster and consistently. So before, I was having lethargy, tiredness, foggy brain, didn't sleep well, felt tired all the time, didn't have the best memory, especially at work when I needed it, and had a bloated stomach. But when I committed myself, at least I was telling myself, Nadia, commit 3 months of doing the carnivore diet strictly, consistently, and efficiently, I started to see the results. I started to have less of a bloated stomach, less tiredness, less of a foggy brain. Even my employers saw that I was better at my job because of my diet. I was strictly eating animal fat and animal protein, meat, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and avoiding sugar. I mean, I was eating before half a cup of blueberries every day, but now I stopped myself from eating blueberries for those 3 months, and I would eat it if I felt like I needed to cave into my sugar craving. I would ingest a little bit of berries, be like, okay, fine, I'll eat the berries. And then it would be less than half a cup if I had to. And then I would keep on eating meat. And I knew that I couldn't exercise as much before because I was running on fat, and I felt like when I exercise a lot, I started to lose weight. And if you want to go on the carnivore diet for weight loss, this is great. But as you can see, I don't really need to lose weight. I'm pretty skinny, right? So I didn't want to lose weight, so I made sure that I didn't, do any cardio. I made sure that I didn't exercise that much because I was really strict on the carnivore diet. I was avoiding almost any sugar every day for 3 months because I wanted a fast fix for my gut healing, right? I wanted my leaky gut to go away. And you guys, my leaky gut is completely healed because I consistently committed to the carnivore diet, okay? And I suggest for you to do the same. If you want to get rid of your leaky gut and see huge improvements, getting away from the pain quickly, from lethargy, tiredness, foggy brain, bloated stomach, if you want to get away from that quickly, highly suggest to do the carnivore diet strictly, consistently for at least 3 months. And there's no way you can't see a difference after 3 months. You should see a reduction of symptoms soon after 3 months, okay? You should feel clarity, a better brain, efficiency in your body. You should see healing in your body after 3 months, okay? And that's what happened to me. When I was running on fat and not sugar, of course that's a huge change in itself. It takes time for your body to get used to that. And your body's gonna want sugar, it's gonna want to stop, it's gonna want to eat whatever it wants and then deal with the pain later. But if you have a big why like I did, like it was a huge why for me because I was so tired of having a leaky gut, having gut issues, not thinking well, being known as the girl that has bad memory and not feeling confident because I was just not in my right mind. Because the brain and gut are connected. So when my gut is feeling bad, my brain feels bad, and it affects everything in my life, right? So from the relationships, friendships, family, your body, healing, sleeping, moving, exercising, working at your job, it affects everything. When your gut is not happy, your brain is not happy, and it just spills over everywhere in your life. And so it was really important for me to get this straight because I abused my gut without even knowing it for so many years. I'm like, at this point, I have to have a severe solution for my severe problem. And so when I was running on fat only and not sugar anymore, it was hard. It was hard because it was hard to deal with like people's opinions because normally people just don't eat a side of meat and that's it. They eat a side of meat along with vegetables or potatoes. But I didn't. I was just eating meat. Dealing with people's opinions were hard. I mean, that's just life though. So that was something that I got used to pretty quickly. And then dealing with the sugar cravings, believe it or not, it was hard, but I overcame it because I always reminded myself of my big why and reminded myself, Nadia, you feel better when you eat meat only. Just stick to it. Because I always reminded myself, Nadia, you don't want that big bloated stomach anymore. You don't want to feel tired anymore and lethargic and have a foggy brain. You want to do great at your job. You want to feel confident, Nadia. Feel confident again. Commit to this diet. And I did. And, you know, the hardest, I guess the hardest thing transitioning to just eating fat and not sugar was more of the detox phase, like the keto flu. I did get some cold-like symptoms in the beginning that freaked me out because I wasn't very educated about the carnivore diet and the effects it could have on your body. And, you know, luckily I had a health coach at the time who warned me about this later on. And I researched it and was like, okay, this is normal. This is just my body transitioning and going through sugar withdrawals. So that I got over with. But I want you to know what happens when you run on fat versus running on sugar. It's a huge change for your body. And, you know, I hope this video helped. If you want further help in healing your gut through the carnivore diet, I did create a free video guide that is about the 7 mistakes that you are committing to not heal your gut. I placed it down below in the description box, and I hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.